Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, and Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining me. I do truly appreciate it. It's good to see you. Looks like you're doing well, so welcome in. This evening, it's nighttime now. It's Christmas night, Christmas Day night. And a couple of the gifts that Mrs. Claus gave Santa here were books, I think. They were in boxes from book publishers. And one of them I'm going to show you today. In fact, my wife said, when I started to open this, she said, "Do you want to make a video of it?" And I said, "Oh, okay." Anyway, so that's what I'm about to do. This one, you can tell, comes from one of my absolute favorite publishers, walking God's greener earth. That is Suntup Editions. And I'm so excited because I actually asked for a Suntup Editions book for Christmas. So if what I ask and what I got correlate, I think I know what it is. So I'm going to go out on a limb here. I asked for the artist edition of William Peter Blatty's Legion, the book sequel to The Exorcist, and the basis for which the movie Exorcist 3, also known as Exorcist 3 Legion, was kind of based. The endings for the book and the two different versions of the movies are all different. But I really liked the book, and I really liked the movie a lot. I'm a big George C. Scott fan, so the movie was win-win and a win for me. The book also was very good, and I really dug it because the book, The Exorcist, for me, I loved it because of essentially two characters, Kinderman and Karras. And at the end of The Exorcist, spoiler alert, Karras doesn't make it. But Kinderman goes on, and the book Legion kind of gives you another sampling of his life as he goes on. And I liked it a lot because it was his story. He's a detective, and he was doing detectiving. And it ties back in to Karras and The Exorcist. So I loved it. I loved the book. I loved the movies. And I got recently the numbered edition of Legion. It's right here, a prized piece of my collection right next to The Exorcist. And I wanted the artist edition. And as you can see, I intended to fill that hole one way or the other. One way or the other. Whether or not I got it for Christmas, I was going to get me a copy of that. But Suntup Edition still had some of the artist editions in stock. And I think I may have one here. So with all that being said, let's have no further ado. I want to open it up and see what she looked like. By now, I've seen pictures of it. I've seen other folks bragging about it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm late to the party, pal. But hey, better late than never. In this case, hopefully, we're all good. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for this. Glad to finally add it to my collection. So when you pre-order Suntup Edition books, you end up with books in a form-fitted foam. But at some point in the process, I guess, once the books have sat on their in their warehouse long enough, they no longer use the form-fitted foam. And so you get a box inside a box. And this isn't the first time I've gotten one of these. But we got a box inside of a box. And either way, I have great confidence in my friends at Suntup Editions to get me a book in the shape in which I expect, which is perfect. And if there are any issues with such as that, they always seem to take good care of us. So I'm not concerned. We got a box inside of a box, and then inside bubble wrapped. And I'm about to find out, am I right or am I wrong about what I got here? I think I got it. I asked for something, and I get a box from the person, the people that I asked for something from. And we're almost to the point. And there it is. There is Legion. Suntup Editions has these beautiful custom-made bookmarks that are specific to the book that you're getting, and I do love that style and look forward to the bookmarks every time. So William Peter Blatty, Legion, introduction by Michael Peter Blatty, the son of William Peter Blatty, and illustrated by Matt Mahurin. And I love the artwork in this book, and we'll show it to you. I'll show you this artist edition artwork, and something that you typically end up with Suntup editions. With the artist edition, I think the classic editions as well, you get shrink-wrapped books. The numbered editions tend to come in an envelope that's taped over the top. So that's just a little tidbit there, and I'm not sure the ins and outs of why things like that are done, but that's what I've come to know and come to expect. Let me get this shrink wrap off and see what Legion looks like in the artist edition. And one of the great things that makes the Suntup editions, artist editions, so good, not only do they look good and they use great artists and such as that, but for the price, really nobody offers more at this price. I don't think there's a publisher out there that offers more than this at this price point. So I want to say, I didn't buy it, my wife did. Typically their artist editions are going to run around the $130 neighborhood, $135, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, depending on what it is, but around that price point. And for that, you get a custom-made, high-quality slipcase, and I love slipcases. You can see how thick and heavy-duty this thing is. On the back there, you see, for those of you who like to put these things on the shelf the wrong way, with the spine or the back of the slipcase pointing outward, it is beautiful, and it tells you what the book is, the author, and the publisher. So they do a great job with that. Let me show you. And man, I love slipcases. So to me, that's a big, big deal. And to have one that's more than just paper, one that's built strong, stout, thick, it looks really good, and it is quality. This is an amazing edition. So a lot of the publishers out there offering this type of book are not doing this. The ones that are, for example, Levidian Publications, they're offering slipcases with their books, and the price is usually right around the same. So there's pretty good comparison for what you get for the money. And pretty much everybody else is either offering these things at a higher price, offering them without the slipcase and stuff like that. So the Suntup Editions Artist Edition is one of the great mixes of value and features that there are out there. So they are a great deal, great price, great buy for the money. And what Suntup is starting to do more and more of, which I'm a big fan of, is they're starting to get, they call it the Classic Edition, where books that are coming out where the author is still alive and willing to sign, they're getting the author to sign them books there, which is something that I dig, because to me, signed is always better. So when it's possible, I want it to be signed by the author. Now, William Peter Blatty is no longer with us, so having him sign these books is not an option, but I'd still rather see the books published. So I'm right there. If the author can't sign the books for one reason or another, I still want the quality limited edition books being made. But if the author can sign the books, then I want it signed by the author. So there I am, in case you ask, in case you wondered my opinion. But here's the book outside of that slipcase. And gosh, the Matt Mahurin artwork just looks so good. I do dig it, man. And this book looks phenomenal. Another great thing that Suntup Editions does is they commission some of the finest illustrators out there. And they use a variety of them. So some folks might not like some artists. The problem is that some publishers like to use the same artists over and over and over, which means that some folks are just not going to like the stuff that them publishers are putting out there. Suntup Editions, while they do use great artists, they tend to spread the love around, which is nice. Not only does it give you a variety, but it doesn't leave a large chunk of the fans out in the cold because they don't like a certain artist that a publisher uses all the time. So interesting and a good idea. And we take that dust jacket off, and let's just take a look at the quality that you get with an artist edition from Suntup Editions. We get a cloth covered boards. You see this is embossed. I don't know if you can see that. And that is the sign of the Zodiac. So you may say that's Exorcist 2, and I think it kind of is a neat little whatever, but that's the sign of the Zodiac killer featured in this book. And then you can see, if the light is right, embossed in the spine there is also William Peter Blatty, Legion, Suntup Edition. So very frequently, these books look so nice enough that I almost say it would be neat to have a set of these in the slipcases on the shelf without the dust jacket. But I love the dust jacket. So then I'd have to have a set with and a set without. And maybe some folks out there don't mind spending that kind of dough, but I'm glad to be able to have the book. Having two, it's a little bit of a stretch. But anyway, you can see here that quality Smith sewn binding, the colored end bands. It just looks so nice. So nice. They make good stuff. Our end papers, you can kind of see that texture on those colored end papers. Thick, thick, thick. And before I move on, let's go to the back. Typically, the signature pages are in the back. This being an artist edition, it's, I don't know what you call that. Matt Mahurin made a mark on this book, on this signature page. And I remember when these came out originally, Michael Peter Blatty, who wrote the introduction for this book, the son of William Peter Blatty, kind of made a point saying that he expected a little more effort to be put into a signature like that. And he said, hey, to make it up to everybody, for a limited time, if you want to send me your artist edition books, he said he would sign it free of charge and send it back. I think you had to pay shipping or something like that. I don't remember the ins and outs of that deal, but quite a few people took him up on that deal. And if I had the book at the time, I probably would have. But that was a long time ago, and I'm not going to ask him to do it in perpetuity, but it was a neat little option for him to put a nice, good-looking signature for a person that did write the introduction, that did contribute to the book, so it would have made a lot of sense. And there's more of that Matt Mahurin artwork, that frontispiece, and looks good. One of the great things about Suntup Editions is that their books, typically, I want to say six interior illustrations, and they sometimes are black and white, sometimes they're color, depends on the artist, depends on the story, depends on whatever, a lot of things, but a lot of times they will be full color illustrations. So those decisions, I think, typically are made based on the production itself. Some publishers will have black and white illustrations because they're cheaper to produce, and then maybe in their lettered editions or higher end editions they'll offer color. There's that. Or it seems like Suntup typically makes the decision based on the artist chosen, sometimes based on the story, I guess, the period, and things like that. Stuff along those lines may help to dictate the type of artwork, those types of choices and all that stuff. But I'm always pleased and impressed by the artwork, the effort, the thought, the care that goes into choosing the art and making sure that it's always there in these books. It's something that Suntup Editions has become well known for, and something that, if you're not careful, you just take it for granted. You take it for granted that you're going to buy this book and get all this stuff. It's what you expect, but sometimes I got to remind myself that this is exceptional. This is not the standard. This is the exception, and they're doing great stuff. As you can see, I asked Mrs. Claus, I asked my wife, she said, what do you want for Christmas? And I gave her a list, and it was up to her to decide if I was naughty or nice. And on that list, there was a book. And that book was Legion from Suntup Editions. I wanted the artist edition, and she hooked a brother up. So thank you to my wife. Thank you to Suntup Editions. Thank you to William Peter Blatty. And thanks to everybody else who contributed. Merry Christmas. I hope your 2024 is the bomb. I hope it is the best. I hope all your dreams come true. And, I could use a little good cheer myself too. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I can think of no more lies to tell. C'est la vie. baby. Doo-doo.